This is BBC One for the South East. Now, Inside Out with Caddy Lee Preston.
In the programme tonight, living in the wild in Sussex, I learn how to survive without civilization.
I've travelled quite a bit, but I've never really felt I've had the skills.
I'm just interested in how you would survive in a breakdown situation, which we may not be too far away from.
Hi, tonight we're coming to you from Wildwood Wildlife Park near Canterbury. Now, first up, back in the summer, I went on one of the most unusual weekends of my life. Until recently, the idea of spending time in the wild learning survival skills would not exactly have appealed to me. But nowadays, more and more people are choosing to go back to basics and live off the land. And I want to find out why. So I'm ditching most of life's little luxuries and heading into the woods. I'm 5 miles outside Haywards Heath, but I might as well be 500. I'm spending the whole day and night outdoors, and I've got no food, no water and no tent. And I've never done anything like this before. But I'm not alone. There are 8 men here ranging in age from 17 to 54, all eager to learn how to survive.
I've travelled quite a bit, but I've never really felt I've had the skills.
Well, I'm just interested in how you would survive in a breakdown situation, which we may not be too far away from.
I'm pretty much here because my wife booked us to go on the course. I think that's probably because she wanted a girly weekend where I'm not in the house with her.
To get through the weekend without having to call for a pizza delivery, we've got the help of 2 men from Wildwood Bushcraft, Leon Durbin.
It's very brittle stuff.
And Mick Tampsett.
It does take some pressure in your hands to get it to work.
So it's 10 blokes, 1 girl. I'm feeling a bit outnumbered.
We do have ladies on the courses. We've had ladies in their 60s on some of our courses. The skills we teach can be taught to a total beginner, and they don't need to be expert and they don't need to be particularly macho.
How popular are these weekends?
Becoming more and more popular. What started as a sporadic 2 or 3 weekends a year has turned into getting close to every weekend.
Oddly, the source of this surge in interest in life outdoors is the one thing that keeps most of us indoors: television.
You can't deny the fact that a lot of people with only a passing interest probably wouldn't even heard of an activity like this without the Ray Music, etc. programmes on TV. But more and more they're feeling that they can get out and do it themselves rather than watch it on TV and watching someone else do it. They think, well, why can't I do it themselves? And there's no reason they can't.
But it isn't quite as easy as it looks on the telly. Stuff we take for granted at home takes hours out here. Making a cup of tea, for example. You have to pick your own tea leaves and walk a long, long way to find water that doesn't have live or dead things in it.
If you're collecting the water from downstream of here, potentially full of bacteria and lots of other pathogens. So although you could collect it and you could probably treat it and make it safe, not a good choice. So the closer you can get to the source of the water, in this case a spring, the better, because there won't be anything upstream of it.
So once you've found your water, you scoop it up, carry it back to camp, filter it, boil it, and about 2 hours after you've started, you've got yourself a cup of refreshing nettle tea.
That's nice. It feels quite cleansing, quite healthy.
Yes, it's definitely got a tonic property. It sort of detoxifies the blood and that sort of thing. So it's good for you. Yeah.
Most people prefer their tea with a dose of caffeine, but that's something Adrian Porter from Tunbridge Wells is prepared to live without for a few days, and maybe even longer if he can learn the skills he feels he needs.
I believe that maybe my lifestyle will lead me to live outside more. I put away with my car, I cycle, and I'm trying to be that person. Everyone is waking up to climate change, to how the world is in trouble. The world is in trouble. There could be a possible breakdown of systems, and so I want to be prepared. I don't want to take it too seriously. I'm not going to save the world, but I want to live my life in a sustainable way And I'm just looking at different avenues that I can go, really.
Kiran Makwana of East Grinstead also believes that the skills he's learning here could come in handy when he returns to civilization.
More and more people are having allotments, they're kind of going back to gardening, spending more time outside, so I think that especially with the kind of credit crunch and the economy, people are going to kind of have to do cutbacks, and part of that is going to be perhaps living off the land a bit more.
But if you're going to live off the land, you need to know a bit more than just how to make nettle tea. So the next lesson is tracking.
I'm just trying to work it out. It looks like it most likely could be a deer track, could possibly be badgers going through there.
We're looking for signs of the animals you could eat in order to survive in the wild southeast. On the ground, that means rabbits.
I don't know if you can look inside there, but there's quite a lot of little granules and bits sticking up. Those bits will collapse and flatten with time.
And in the trees, we're looking for pigeons. But catching them is difficult for beginners, so Leon has done it for us. Now he's going to show us how to prepare them for the pot.
You're basically feeling around the rib cage here. I'm starting to go through the skin there.
The reality of life outdoors is that butchering meat is a dirty, bloody, messy business.
Does it smell?
It does smell, yes. It's quite a distinctive rabbit smell.
So if you're squeamish, you may want to look away for a few moments.
And once you've got it like this, you can then pull this up like a sock, a bit like pulling a sock down. It will tear at some point, but like that, you can remove that off of there.
There's really only so much you can learn from watching someone else do it, and if I'm going to survive on my own in the wild, I've got to learn how to do it myself.
It takes me about 20 minutes to prepare my rabbit.
Right. I don't pull kidneys and stuff off yet, do I?
Yeah, they can go in the pot in a
Okay.
second.
Good.
A mere 5 minutes to peel a pigeon.
Amazing how easy it is to get off.
And hours to get rid of the smell.
It's all in my nails. Is this all just a bit of fun, or do you think there was a point to this weekend?
I think initially it was a bit of fun. It was certainly because it was bought for us as a birthday present. It was seen as a bit of fun, but I think the more you go and do it, the more you actually experience things. I think you can take a lot out of it. Hopefully, maybe use it in the future.
But now we've all found out how much work goes into this, do you think maybe let's just stick with the supermarket?
Well, it's either that or starve, I suppose. If the supermarket hasn't got the food in, because you never know what's going to happen in the future, do you? If the supermarket hasn't got the food in, there's always that option of trying it out yourself. You might spend hours and hours and hours searching for food and not finding anything, but I'm sure you're going to have a hell of a lot of fun doing it.
But there's no point hunting animals if you don't know how to make fire. You can use a feather stick and a fire steel.
Here we go. You got
Hey!
it. Well done.
Don't go out, don't go out.
Or the macho method. A bit of friction,
Itself as well, that will help.
a glowing ember, smoke,
That is so nice.
and eventually fire. But it's harder than it looks.
Get your face back a bit, there's moisture in your breath, you'll make it damp.
And just when you think you've got it,
No, that's it.
He's gone. The main thing I've learnt is that if I'm in a survival situation, I would die very quickly. They make it look easy, and they've obviously been practicing a very long time, and they don't tell you that, but they've been doing it for years and years.
Do you think if you know what you're doing, you could actually survive like this in the southeast?
It's a question of how many people could survive in how many acres. One person in the southeast could survive easily. 1,000 could survive easily. The problem with the southeast, we've got millions. So that would be the problem. It would be a survival of the fittest, I guess.
so for our little band, survival in this patch of forest would be possible. And tonight there's just enough pigeon fried in wild garlic to go round. And I can personally vouch for the fact that it really does taste better if you prepared it all yourself.
It's really yummy. It's like it's been marinated in something for ages. That's really good. I like it. Right, off to find a shelter.
So with food, water and fire sorted, the final survival skill is to build myself a place to sleep.
It's quite pretty.